Welcome to Bus Driver Life. My name is Kiwan. I've been a bus driver for about 18 years. I've driven school buses and I currently drive transit buses in Northern California. In this episode, I'm going to take a look at some mean comments about bus drivers on the internet. And then I'm going to let you know what I think about it. Why are we going to do this? I don't know. Let's just do it. So the first mean and rude comment about bus drivers that we're going to take a look at also has a video. So you can see on the video here that there is a bus. It is sitting right there. And it's just sitting there. It's probably at a stop sign or a red light. And you can see that van crashes into the back of the bus. So most people with common sense would generally say things like, or ask questions like, was the van driver not paying attention? Were they on their phone? Why would they crash into a vehicle that's clearly and obviously not moving? But we have someone in the comments that has a different perspective, you know? They have a different angle. They see this differently. Let's take a look at that comment. This person says, why was the driver, the bus driver, in 2 lanes of the road, not by the curb? Road hog. Bus drivers do not have to stay by the curb at all times. It's actually impossible for us to always be by the curb. Why? Because typically there are cars parked next to the curb. We pull in and out of bus stops at the curb, and after that, we pull back into traffic like everyone else. We are free and able to utilize all of the traffic lanes that are available to us depending on what traffic maneuvers we need to do, whether that is like changing lanes, making a left or right turn, whatever the case is, we can use the entire road as needed. So you should be questioning the driver of the van, not the bus driver. You ain't lying. Okay, this next comment is kind of like a complaint or a sarcastic comment. Sir? It's a sarcastic comment about a bus driver that was running early, and they say, sure, Mr. Bus Driver, you're running a little early, so by all means travel at 25 miles per hour in a 50 to get your timings back. I mean, yeah, if we're running early, we are probably going to travel just a little bit slow because we are ahead of schedule, and even though we may be in between time points, we might take it slow so that hopefully once we reach the next time point, we can just keep going instead of stopping. I like this response. This person says, this is how timetables work. Pretty much. But I guess the response is, I get that, but if they leave one stop on time, they shouldn't need to go half the speed to arrive at the next stop at the timetable time. That's not true. I mean, I can leave my very first stop on time. But if there's like hardly nobody riding the bus and there's not a lot of traffic, meaning I'm just pretty much going nonstop, I will arrive at the next time point early. So therefore, I may drive a little bit slow because I know that if I drive the speed limit, I am probably going to get to the time point early. That's just how it works sometimes. And another thing, why are you even upset about that? I understand you want to get to where you got to be on time, but if my bus is running early, then that means that you are probably not late. And if you are late, you should have taken the bus before my bus, because you can't get upset at the bus driver who is running early and accuse them of making you late because they're running early. Okay, this comment says, this sounds like a passenger complaint. Once a driver of a bus I was on stopped the bus at the side of a fairly busy road, got out, walked into a Tim Hortons, that's a restaurant, and didn't come back for 10 minutes. The service is honestly unbelievably bad. I'm not sure exactly what transit system they are talking about, but if a bus driver stopped at the side of the road, probably at a bus stop, and went into a restaurant for about 10 minutes, they could have possibly went to use the restroom. A lot of transit systems do allow bus drivers to take restroom break. If there's an emergency and they really got to go in the middle of a route, a lot of times they will be allowed to do that. Some transit systems do not allow it, but a lot of them do. And in some cases, even if they don't allow it, if you got to go, you got to go. So I understand that that can cause an inconvenience to the people riding the bus, but right now there are still humans operating buses, and those humans have to use the restroom. A lot of bus drivers try their best to time their restroom breaks for their break time, but sometimes bus drivers are working day off work or overtime or filling in for somebody, so it may not be their normal schedule, so they may have to use the bathroom. Now I can understand if a bus driver pulls over, goes to a restaurant, and walks out with a bunch of food, and it makes you late. You have every right to be upset, and if you decide to call in and report that, that's fine. I get it, because in most cases that I know of, bus drivers are not supposed to stop while en route with passengers in service and grab food. Okay, so this one is really interesting because this is coming from a bus fan. And I've noticed that the bus fan community, the majority of the bus fan community, are awesome and amazing and cool. But there's this small little segment, this small little corner of the bus fan community, just a small corner. Like I said, most of the bus fans are awesome, but a small little portion of that where they love buses, but they hate bus drivers, and they publicly bash and talk trash about bus drivers on their social media accounts. So here's one person that says they are a bus fan. They say, I am a bus fan. Okay, and what you are saying is absolutely correct in my opinion. This is a response to a video about bus drivers running red lights. Some drivers don't even receive training for the air brakes. What? Let alone train to adapt to the physics of a bus completely. Who told you that? Do you have any facts to back that up? Because that is completely false. Some drivers don't even receive training for the air brakes. The air brake test is part of the pre-trip inspection. If you don't pass the air brake test when you're being tested on your initial road test to get your license, you're not even gonna move the bus. You can't drive the bus unless you pass the air brake inspection. You ain't lying. When you're being trained for air brakes, you have to perform the air brake tests, all of them, and you have to explain them as you're physically performing it. It's actually pretty difficult to do. A lot of training programs for transit drivers in North America, before you even drive the bus, a lot of times you do a week or 2 or 3. Every place kind of does things a little different, but a lot of places you'll do classroom training before you even get behind the wheel of an actual bus. And in that classroom training, you're dealing with the air brakes and the overall pre-trip inspection, because you have to get all of that. It is a whole bunch of information that you have to memorize almost verbatim, and you have to perform these tests before you can even move the bus. So please, Mr. Bus Fan, tell me, what transit agencies are not training drivers to operate air brake equipped vehicles? Where did you even come up with that from? And then you say we're let alone trained to adapt to the physics of a bus completely? The first time you sit in that seat and put that bus into motion, you're gonna get an idea of how the physics of a vehicle that large works. When you're approaching intersections, you have to stop the bus. A bus that's fully loaded versus a bus that's empty. You're gonna understand the physics of a bus. You ain't lying. Comments like this is just filled with hate for no reason. If you're a bus fan, don't make stupid comments like this. So this next comment is actually from someone who's responding to the incident where the lady was preparing her bus. She took over the bus en route. So she was doing her safety checks and doing her mirrors and wiping the bus down. And the passengers got upset at her and they felt she was taking too long. And she was saying like, look, this is for safety. Need to make sure everything's safe before we take off. So this person decided to comment in response to that. And they said, they always hide behind ELF in safety in the UK too. I worked on the southern region of British Railways and its 10-pod successors. Me, I just drive my train to get everyone where they wanted to go as safely and as quickly as I could. Okay, so if you're gonna do it safely, you're gonna make sure everything's safe before you take off. Okay, my conductor was the same. We were always thinking that we were providing a public service. The only time we wouldn't go was if it really was unsafe to do so. Huh? So wait, are you saying that you would operate your train if it was kinda unsafe? But if it was really unsafe, then you'd be like, oh no, we can't go. But kind of unsafe, we can work with that. No, it needs to be safe, period. What kind of operator are you? Like, okay, anyway, sadly, you don't see many like that now, or so I am told by my old passengers, LOL. Bloody glad I'm retired. I'm glad you're retired too, because we need people that are safe.
You ain't lying.
We do provide a public service, and part of that public service is making sure that the vehicle is safe to operate. Can you imagine if airline pilots were like, hey man, if it's kind of unsafe, we're still gonna get this bird up in the air. But if it's really unsafe, we'll consider not flying it. So let me know what you all think of some of these comments. Did you think these people were right or wrong? Are you kind of neutral? Let me know what you think. I appreciate you all for watching. If you haven't subscribed, make sure you do subscribe and give the video a thumbs up if you don't mind. And I will see you next time on Bus Driver Life.